Hey guys, another beautiful day in the beautiful life. I hope you're doing well. I hope you are safeguarding your energy and doing what's best for your heart. Yeah, it's so funny. I come across a lot of people who are really indecisive and they're always looking for a external voice to validate their decision. And I always respond by saying, you should do what makes your heart happy, or you should do what your heart desires. Pretty much. Yeah. Because it honestly, it really doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Does it make you happy? Does it bring you joy? Does it bring you peace? Because it really doesn't matter what somebody else has to say. Their opinion does not matter. It is limited to their own personal perception of their lived experiences, and it has nothing to do with you. So you should always trust your heart. Yeah. So it was so funny. I walked into my bedroom and the pen moved on its own. And the pen was on a page in this book. I'm not even bullshitting you. I was just like, that happened. And yeah, literally nothing going on in the room, but the pen literally like did a flop. And I was like, are you trying to grab my attention? Do you want me to see something in this book that I haven't picked up in a while? And there's this really cool like thing that grabbed my attention that I want to share with you. Maybe it will help you, maybe it won't. Before I get started, let's cleanse the space. Cleanse the space of the energy that may or may not be yours, and you certainly shouldn't be holding on to. Let it go, let it flow. If not, you're constipated, and who likes to be constipated? Not me. All right, I'm gonna put this down for a second or more because it's gonna take more than a second to like this. So I have a bunch of things, honestly, that's going through my mind. Um, but we'll just see where this ramble takes us and if there's anything worth listening to, honestly. If you ask me, like, one of your main goals in life should be learning to trust yourself, you know? Because there's so many voices in the world, so many different perspectives, opinions, and it has nothing to do with you. It's your life. It has everything to do with you. So start trusting yourself. You know what I mean? Like, I remember when I was younger, before I knew what I know now, I was pretty indecisive. I was pretty like, I doubt myself often. And, yeah, as life lifed on, I met people that were like hefty reminders on why I shouldn't do that. Like, I had a coworker once that said his pet peeve was indecisive people. He's like, dude, just make a fucking decision. If it ends up being something you don't like, you learn something. If it's something you do like, you learn something. We're all learning all the time. But we have a capacity to let fear hold us in place, or like we have a capacity to let our fear make us vulnerable to the ideas and opinions of everyone else, and they might not have your best interest in mind. So keep that in mind. You know what I mean? Learn to trust yourself. Literally sit with yourself, experience things, take the lessons, keep on keeping on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay, well, the smoke is gone and I'm gonna let it sit with my little disco ball plant. Anyways, okay, so the saying in the book says, in order to move on, you must understand what you felt, what you did, and why you no longer need to feel it. In order to move on, you must understand what you feel, what you did, and why you no longer need to feel it. Yeah, I think we've been kind of programmed to like ruminate, overthink. Um, yeah, and that leads to a very, I want to say, constipated and congested mind, a fragmented mind. It's really hard to make clear and decisive decisions when you're in that headspace. I want to say 70 to 70, almost maybe 80% of the time, I don't really have thoughts going through my head. Yeah. And I think people can't relate to that. They probably think I am stupid. But then I'm looking at them running around like headless chickens and like freaking out about everything. And I'm just like, um, I don't know if your assessment of me is accurate. Yeah. Um, I swear to God. So, like, I want to say if you can practice literally having a clear, blank slate mind, even 50% of the time, game changer. Yeah. I spend most of my time, and I think I've mentioned this before, and I'm going to get to a point. I love nature. If you've been watching my channel, you probably like nature too, right? I love just staring out into the endless vast sky, like daytime or nighttime. I love watching the clouds like form and dissolve and all the different variations of color and then like I don't know, it's just very vast and expansive and I think that is equivalent to your mind. You know what I mean? And you know how the clouds form and dissolve? The events, the experiences that happen in every moment, that's what's happening, guys. I think I made a video on that. But yeah, that's why like I'll experience something and then most of the time I've gotten so much better at just letting it go. Like before, it would take me like a day, a week, a month, years to process something. And now I just kind of like have retrained my brain to just kind of like view life through a very realistic lens in the present moment. And if something jostles me or unsettles me, um, I'll definitely acknowledge that. And then I will work on releasing that in equal measure. you know um in another video I say do visualizations. This is very easy, like this is not hard. Like close your eyes, take a moment, pause, close your eyes, like calm yourself and bring your consciousness to the middle of your head. I don't know if you can understand what I'm saying. Like if you're like, I want to say, seasoned with meditation practices, I think you'll understand what I'm saying. Like you basically get into a very relaxed state where you let like your whole body relax, every muscle, every tendon just relaxes. And then you bring like your attention or your consciousness into the middle of your head. And then you visualize a magnetic sponge pulling out all the energies, all the thoughts, all the experiences that you encounter throughout the day that unsettled your spirit, and then send that thing into a black hole to be neutralized, because I think a lot of people are just carrying around a lot of stuff that they've accumulated since they were like children or babies, even before you were a baby in the womb. I'm sure like your mother's emotional state affected you. Yeah, just pull and purge all those things out of you. Um, for me, that is the easiest method. Like I've come across so many methods that are so complicated, and it's just like, oh my god, I don't really have time to be doing all these like unnecessary things. Like I'm just going to close my eyes, relax, go to the center of my head and imagine a magnetic sponge pulling all the energies out of me effortlessly, and then I'll send it into a black hole to be neutralized by source. You know, do that regularly, do that, and you'll see a substantial change, honestly. um So, oh yeah, my point about staring at the sky, vast and expansive sky. Um, I feel like that reminds us of our natural state. You know what I mean? We are vast, we are expansive. The clouds, the stars, they momentarily appear and then they disappear. And it really makes no sense to hold on to any of it. You know what I mean? Because it's life is constantly transitioning. And if you try to hold on to things that no longer exist, you're definitely weighing yourself down, blocking yourself, and preventing yourself from moving forward. And then people who spend a lot of time in the future, I used to do that excessively, but I've trained myself not to do that. I can do it like intentionally if I need to, but I don't do it. I don't live there. I used to live in the future. Um, yeah, that just keeps you in a state of fear of like, trying to control an outcome and having it meet your expectation versus what is realistically happening right now in this moment. I mean, you can read this stuff in books, and I'm sure people have been saying this for eons, and it's just about putting it into practice. Um, Shucks, what was I going to say? Ooh, yeah. So anytime you encounter anything that is unsettling or jostling to your system, I'm going to remind you again, it's so important to pause. Like instead of like having knee jerk reactions, train yourself to pause and become very neutral, non reactive. hmm It's for me, it's like when I was driving today, I was thinking when you're in a situation, it's kind of like a microscope. When you're like too like zoomed too close in, you can't see things clearly. You know what I mean? Like for instance, if I show you this lighter up close, you see that? You see how like your visual is like um limited, but if you zoom out, you see things more expansively, you can see things more clearly, you can get a bird's eye view, and when you pause, you can take it all in, you can analyze everything very clearly, and then make your next intentional decision from that space. Now, if you're like too close up and you're in it and there's chaos and you're like, it's hard to like separate yourself from that and make logical decisions, rational decisions, right? Reasonable decisions. So, yeah, pause. Pausing is so fucking essential. Like, we should have been taught that in school, honestly. Pause, breathe, calm your nervous system, and then assess things from that headspace. 1000%. um, yeah. So, like, that's why, like, spending time in nature is so therapeutic because, like, nature's not trying to prove anything. It doesn't care who likes it, who doesn't like it. It's not trying to prove anything. It's not looking for validation. It's just kind of going at its own pace, its own flow, and doing its own thing. You know what I mean? And that's who you are, aside from all the busyness and noise from the world. Yeah. That's why, like, I think that's why, like, we also like to spend so much time alone, because we can, like, see things clearly without the contamination of another person's energy. I don't know. Like, for me, I just savor my alone time so much. Sometimes I do mindless things, I mean, I want to say most of the time I'm mindless, but like sometimes I'll just, I don't know, watch like a movie just to like kind of like tune out or just like to, I don't know. Also, like, I've noticed like when I watch movies, first of all, I can't get through the movie in one go. I think I've mentioned like sometimes it takes me 3 days to finish a movie. I don't know what happens. It's like my mind has an emergency shutoff valve and doesn't want to like consume anything, and it just wants to be present and be left alone. Um, Same with like any type of media, honestly. And I also have a tendency to like overanalyze the things that I'm consuming. Like for instance, when they sing like songs, like I'll listen to the lyrics and I'll like overanalyze it. Yeah. So the level of enjoyment, hmm, I don't know if it has depreciated or if it's actually a different. I'm just. exploring it from a different level or angle, honestly. Yeah, because when I was younger, I'm sure you can relate. Like when you're younger, you just like, if you hear like a catchy tune, you just kind of go with it, like, oh, it has a catchy beat, it has like a catchy like tune, like, yeah, I'm just gonna sing the lyrics. But now like I'll listen to the lyrics, I'm like, what what is going on here? Because if you think about it, like songs or spells, any type of word, sentence, anything that you tell yourself, um, internally or externally, you're casting a spell. And a lot of these songs, I don't know, maybe you're just talking about like, just like, how do I say this? I don't know, just things that don't interest me anymore, honestly. Yeah, like especially the ones that are talking about codependency in relationships. Like they're so sad that somebody left, or I don't know, and they can't live without them. I'm just like, huh? Dude, go and like, instead of being so dependent on a relationship or another person to satisfy you, satisfy yourself, you know? Bring all your energy back to yourself, and yeah, just find satisfaction with yourself, you know? Um yeah. There was like some more things I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah. So this is very contradictory and paradoxical. So, dude, I'm gonna go into this real quick. Today I got my hair cut. I get my hair cut maybe like once every 3 to 5 years. Like I don't do it often. I also don't like putting product. You know what I mean? You know how people like spend a lot of time like just, I don't know, drying their hair, curling their hair, spraying their hair, putting gel, and that's cool if you do that. But I don't like that. I just feel like that takes a lot of effort and energy that I could be not exerting. Yeah. Like the most I do is wash it, and then I'll let the wind fucking dry it, Simple. Um, but yeah, like the hairstylist, like it was a kind of like exciting thing for me because I don't do it often. And I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna cut off all this like years of like whatever information in the hair that I've been holding on to. I'm gonna like set myself free and like feel a little lighter. Man, that hairdresser, she was so dismissive and so like condescending, and I literally was about to walk out. um my whole point is, if something doesn't feel right to you, you should fucking walk out. And I also need to take my own advice because yeah, before she even picked up the shears, I started feeling like tension in my chest and my stomach, and that is a telltale sign that something feels off kilter, you know, because you shouldn't feel like that in any situation unless you're in a situation that's not good for you, right? But my curiosity compelled me, and I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to try this hairdresser, and I'm going to see what she does. And she absolutely was condescending and dismissive and refused to cut my hair the way I wanted it to be cut. And not only that, the bill was pretty fucking ridiculous, honestly. So my usual hairdresser that I go to, she charges me like $20 for haircuts, and she'll do whatever I want. Like if I wanted to do like a fucking like pixie cut with some strands or something, she would do it. She wouldn't question me. She wouldn't make me feel bad about it. She would do it. And $20. I paid like 4 times more. And I dealt with a hairdresser that was very um I can't even think of the words to describe the feelings that she made me feel. Condescending. She was very condescending. She was very dismissive. She was very like trying to force me to do it the way she wanted her. But she tried to force me to cut my hair the way she wanted to cut it. And yeah, she just whatever. And then another client walked in, and she's like, oh, I gotta go help the other client. I can get back to you. You want me to cut off more? And I'm like, at this point, I'm done with you, girlfriend. I need to fucking leave. So I should have trusted my initial feelings and I should have left, but I didn't. Um, so, this is a friendly reminder to you. If you're in any situation dealing with anyone who is making your nervous system feel unsafe and making you feel tense in your heart or your tummy, you need to fucking leave. Um, where I went wrong, honestly, was my curiosity. I'm a curious person. And I'm just like, I don't know how she's going to do it. Either way, it's okay. I'm just going to follow through with this. Um, on the opposite end of the spectrum, though, sometimes you feel fear and that kind of keeps you in place. And I think that's the crossroads that I was at while I was sitting in the chair. Yeah, like I'm like, okay, am I like just feeling fear because I'm not sure like how this is going to turn out, if I'm going to like this, should I walk away? In that situation, I should have walked away, but I didn't. So everything happens for a reason, right? Lesson learned. That's what I'm saying. If something goes awry, you learn a lesson. If something goes great, you learn a lesson. It's all lessons, honestly. My lesson is never to go back to that person and um, to listen to myself. Like I should have just said, "Hey, man, like I can see like you're not gonna you don't want to cut my hair the way I want, so I'm gonna leave. But thank you for your time." I should have done that, but I didn't. So lesson learned for next time, for sure. Yeah. So there's a difference between like listening to your body and letting it guide you, and letting it alert you to a not pleasing situation for yourself. And there's also like a fine line between feeling fear and preventing it letting it prevent you from stepping into a more expansive experience. I think I want to say 90% of the world is stuck in that category where they feel fear and then they let that fear just hold them in place and they become stagnant and they don't really expand or experience new things. There's very delicate line. Like for me, I've said this before, I feel the fear and I do it anyway. And that's why, like, I think this whole situation was kind of like confusing for me. I'm like, I'm feeling this fear. I'm going to do it anyway. I didn't get the outcome that I wanted, but it's fine. Like I said, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but lesson learned. um, Yeah, but you shouldn't let fear hold you back from trying new things, honestly. Like because if you let fear hold you in place, you'll become static. You'll become stagnant and you won't expand and you won't grow and you won't like get to like see and experience new things and acquire opportunities for new lessons. You have to just put yourself out there and try. Also, um, I've noted that a lot of people, and I continue to say this, a lot of people create a lot of problems for themselves. You know, um, Dude, stop creating problems for yourself. Yeah, just like in every moment when you open your eyes and you are living life, in every moment, just make decisions. Like, is this gonna make me like feel more peace and more happiness? Or is it going to like deter me from that? And then also, if you want to, depending on what you're deciding on, think about the long term effects. If it's a short term effect, like you need to do something to self soothe in the moment, by all means do that. But long term effect, you don't want to like establish a habit of something that in the long run could be detrimental to your well being, whether that be mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, monetary, energetic. You know what I mean? Like everything in moderation, I feel. Anyways, I've been talking for 25 minutes and I literally don't know if I made any sense. Let's see what else is in this book because that pen was nuts. Like, I'm like, how did that pen move on its own? Mhm. Let me pause and find something so you don't have to watch me like sift through these pages. Yeah, I thought this was interesting. And I am honestly going to have to sit with this and process, but I'll leave this with you for a food for thought. Yes. When someone betrays you, it reflects on their ethics, maturity, level of spiritual development, and ability to sustain compassion. That was a mouthful. I'm going to read that again. When someone betrays you, it reflects on their ethics, maturity, level of spiritual development, and ability to sustain compassion. It is not a reflection on your worth or even a matter of whether they loved you or not. It is more a matter of whether they love themselves enough to face their own issues honestly. That's a lot. I don't know about you guys. Maybe you guys like comprehended and processed that quickly, but I'm gonna have to sit with that. But I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. If you learned anything from this video, great. If you didn't, that's great too. Keeping you and stop letting people like dictate your reality and tell you how to live your life. Trust yourself. Trust what you feel. Do what is best for you in every fucking moment. Yes. I'm going to leave you with that. Blessings to one and all. Amen.